So today was a test run in the new house. And everything about it is new for us. Where to park, how many people can fit in the room, is it big enough? Trying to figure out where I should sit. All of the walls come down to a 5-foot wall. So I really didn't know where to hang the Buddhist tankas that we had. And then I realized that Tibetans were nomadic and traveled in yurts and probably hung all their tankas on the 5-foot part of the wall. So this is, the low-hanging tankas are perfect. This guy behind me is the wheel of life and death, indicating you can get off it. It feels a little bit hubristic to try to sit in front of this thing. On the other hand, it's that or a blank wall. So I decided I would sit here and try to clarify for all of us that we are on that wheel and that we are basically caught in a universe of life and death, death and rebirth, good and evil, positive, negative, love and hate, all of those qualities, all circling around. And the biggest problem for all of us in being caught in it is we think there's an us and an it. And of course there is an us and an it. On some level, we are all separated out of the totality. We have manifested from something unmanifested into this particular form that we each have. And each of our forms is prone to the thrill of being, excitement of manifested bodily existence, the incredible nature of love and joy and beauty that surrounds us, and the totality of decay and suffering that ultimately awaits us. And it's a strange bargain that we don't even remember making. But we're all caught, various levels of this thing here, with this Maya figure looking over us. And, and there's this incredible desire for some people who recognize the entrapment of it all to escape. How do I get off this wheel? How do I get out of here? And the entire problem is stated in that question. How do I, personally, separately, individually, get off? And you never can and never will. Primarily because the I is a temporary existence that is dominating your field of vision and making you think that you are somehow separate from all of this. It is very persuasive. We are all caught in this web of unbelievable dynamic. This world is so compelling, so beautiful, so fearful, so curious, so unexplainable. And we all build a persona, a narrative, a story, a character to live in it. Why do we do that? It seems to want to happen. Something perhaps even greater than us wants us to witness this, its true self. Suffering primarily becomes a fundamental part of the human experience, especially as you get older, but it's always there. It becomes an essential part of the human experience because we think in some very real way that there is that and there's this, that there are two. The teaching of all the great religions, if you will, particularly in the East, is that you are not this, or even more particularly, you are this, and this is all there is. But as you can begin to winnow away the part that feels separated from it, the part that feels pain in it, the part that feels suffering in it, as you can begin to recognize that that is not absolutely true. If there was nobody here to have a reaction to it, the it would remain, but there wouldn't be a you fighting it, or craving it, or wishing it be one way over another. If you could let go, in the deepest and most profound way, what would remain is everything that is, but without you separated from it. And the you that's separated from it happens, it seems, purposefully, that we're here for a reason to be separate. We're here to experience this phenomenal, mysterious world. Perhaps we are the eyes of the witnessing that have to come to know what this thing is that it has created. There are a million explanations for what all of this is about. But Rudi somehow centered into something that I have, over the years, 50 years of sitting, discovered more and more is at the core of what we are to do here. And that is, at the center of his teaching, is a wish to surrender. Wish to surrender, to let go. And in the clearest and simplest way possible, let me just say that letting go is a life's work in the same way that Rudi described it. And every time you think you've done it, you will discover there are parts of you that are still there. Even if you become a great saint, the minute you think, "Ah, I'm a saint," you're still there. It's there. They will, in the end, it removes everything. The only way it can remove the theater of your life, the drama, the presentation of your life, is to reveal it. You can't walk away from the unseen. You can't walk away from that which you don't touch, feel, know, breathe. It has to reveal it to you. And the act of surrender can only happen when you feel this very strong sense of need to let go. For the longest time in the process of surrender, there will be a you trying to benefit from it. Ah, if I can just let that go, I'll be happy. Oh, I'll be free. Just get rid of that thing, this thing. Drop 5 pounds. Go to the gym. I'll look better. Get married. Have a big career. If I can only have that stuff, get rid of poverty. There's all these ideas that the mind and brain plays with, trying to do a bargain run around this thing of true surrender. But surrender is an absolute part of what we head toward. And in the end, we all know this, you take nothing with you. Getting to the point of nothingness may happen by itself. It could happen just through aging, living, having a life, going, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't care about that part of life anymore. You can let go of things, you can start to free yourself of stuff, but there's a whole world of stuff that is the familiar that we are very attached to. And until those levels of attachment start to reveal themselves in the fullness of their power, you cannot truly arrive at surrender or at becoming one with what you are. You will remain separated out, caught in this world of delusional movement through life and death, life and death, life and death, until you finally get to the place where you do surrender. Many people haven't even begun the journey. They're just here because Netflix has got 2 more weeks of streaming of their show. They've got to make this amount of money. They got to take care of the plumbing. There's so many things that keep us in this world, and we don't have time to think about really surrender. But I'm in an interesting moment in my life, having just moved to this house, having brought way too much furniture, sculptures, art, stuff, having tried to give much of it away before I came, but wasn't even near enough, and now finding that even here, all of my attachments, things I didn't even know held me back on such profound levels, are starting to show themselves. And what I'm experiencing is the shadow sides of my own being, the dark corners, the fears, the unexpected attachments, the stuff I didn't know drove me and governed me. And what's happening now is a whole new level of practice. Letting go, especially now that I'm getting old, is no longer something I say to myself, oh yeah, I really want to surrender. I need to surrender everything there is, especially the part that thinks there is a Bruce. And I know I've spoken about this awakening and enlightenment that took place nearly 10 years ago. And as I've tried to explain to people over the course of time, that awakening and enlightenment, which seemed to be ultimate, proved to be another step in a much bigger journey, an ongoing level of revelation where you start to see that you still have these tentacles out there holding on to this ephemera of you, who you were, who you might still be, the little tiny things. And what will happen, at least what's happening for me, is the universe is now saying, take a look. Look at all this stuff. You can have anything, but you cannot have it. It can be in your life, but you cannot own it. You cannot be attached to it. See where your attachments are, and understand that all of your attachments are the very thing binding you to suffering and separation. They keep you on this wheel. Let them go. I share this with you partly because it's deeply humbling to realize how attached one can be to stuff after years of Buddhist practice and supposedly walking around feeling free. But you don't really know freedom until you make a move to a new house and have to take stuff or let it all go. And Blanche and I did not want to let it all go. We thought we have to fill it with furniture, and we have this lovely art, and we have all of these really nice things and books. My God, we've given away half our books, but we still have enough to fill a library. And we thought, well, we'll deal with all of that. Well, once you actually have to carry a 50-pound or whatever box of books up and down 2 or 3 flights of stairs over and over, and my phone tells me exactly how many steps I go up and down with all these boxes, and your back hurts and you don't sleep at night and your neck hurts and you're going, how can I do this? It really starts to register how your attachments that you didn't even know about. If I stayed in my house in LA, I would never have known fully how much I really was wedded to this world of stuff. Moving 2 houses into a house that's smaller than either one of them is really a test. And I thought I had failed it pretty much during most of this time, And Blanche and I really struggled with everything and each other, trying to deal with the stress of it. Having this class today was one of the goals of, we've got to get the house in some kind of order in order to bring family, friends, people we love into our environment again. So it was a real drama to get there. But as of yesterday, the house feels presentable. We still have too much stuff. We still have attachments that we didn't know about. But I will tell you, the universe revealing all of that, revealing your stuff, revealing stuff you were not aware of caring about, is a gift. And as you take your breath and you ask for help to surrender, you finally understand its impact and its value. Rudi's key line for so many years was, you can't let go of what you haven't had. Having had is really powerful. Having had things and people in your life that you love is really powerful, and we're here for that. We are here to acquire and enjoy and indulge and build a story and have a life, but not at the expense of forgetting it is on loan and it's temporary. If you think you own this stuff, you are crazy. It owns you, as I tell you. The people you love are going to be gone. You are going to start losing people in ways that are going to break your heart open. And you are going to start, as you expand your consciousness, to feel everybody's pain, everybody's hurt, everybody's joy. You will begin to feel the world as you. And as you start to feel the world as you, it is almost unbearable. That's a layer of work. Now you have to work not just to deal with your stuff, with your being, with your drama. The drama of the world has become yours. And all of us who are now part of 21st century media life, those who live on a planet that's heating up, we are no longer being allowed to be separate from the other. We are a collective. We are a singularity. How do we deal with this expanding sense of being and still being attached to the world as it was, our home as it was, our personality, our lovers, the people we care about, the things? It's all changing. It's all evaporating. It's all turning into something else. If there was ever a time to put into practice, please help me to surrender, this is it. It's a simple practice. Honestly, learning to surrender, learning to let go is at the core, because at the very end of it, you don't want to be held by chains to the world. You want to be held by little threads and then cut them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Spiritual work is cutting threads. It's not denying that you have them. It's not denying that you love this world and you love life, or you hate this world and hate life. They're both dynamically powerful experiences. You can hate it with more attachment than you can, and some people love it. But all of that experience, all of that ultimately is leading you into something else, which we can call the great mystery, if you will. We can call it the unknown. But if you get glimpses of the unknown and sitting still in meditative practice, communally is particularly powerful, but even singly, you sit still, you go into the silent spaces of your own chakras, if you will, your own heart, and you take a breath, and you will begin to feel I just call it upliftment out of the morass of everything. And there is a place of welcoming stillness and comfort that seems, in a way, to have no borders. It just goes on and on. And it's the kind of place you want to be. It announces something that feels bigger, more important, more essential than your day-to-day life. and it's right inside you. The doorway is right inside you. If you go into this space and you just go, please help me to surrender, and you sit there, this thing comes and goes, okay. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter how much you own. It doesn't matter how much you don't have. It doesn't matter about anything. It lifts you up. And if you become very sensitive to it, you know that something is lifting you. And that something, maybe it's not a thing, but there is this aura of envelopment and being cared for, compassion. It's a space that feels good. It's a space of love, and it's right inside you. And it's accessible anytime you want it. And it will make itself known over and over. On the other hand, things will happen. If you get unconscious, if there's certain karmic propensities, other things will happen. You'll slam your finger in the doorway, stub your toe, minor things, and you will feel assaulted by life and the universe. You can either look at it and curse everything, or you can go, oh well, ouch, that really hurts. Deal with it for a moment, and it will begin to evaporate in time. But if you want to look at that as a sign that the universe hates you, or that you are in trouble, or that you've blown everything you've ever tried to do, then you're going to lock yourself into a narrative that may be 30, 50 years old, and you will have to start working harder and deeper. The universe is going to bring you, it's going to bring you opportunities for the shadow side, the dark side, the parts of you you thought you've taken care of, to show themselves. And it does it not out of punishment, but because it's the only way you can learn to go, okay. Learning to go, okay, frees you of reaction. There will come a point where you don't even go okay, bless you. You don't even go okay. It just is okay. The real imagery of Tibetan Buddhism, which I love, there's a picture over here, I'll show it. Let me see if that statue shows. I have no idea. Is this guy showing you? Yeah, that's Yab Yum. That's everything. That's the entirety of what you are, embracing itself. And in embracing itself, it is not suffering. It is being all there is. And we tend to feel like we're one part of it all. And it's so dynamic and so powerful and so intense that we feel wronged by it, we feel harmed by it, we feel hurt by it, we want more of it, we want this part of it but not that part of it. The spiritual journey is to go, okay. Surrender is that practice. Surrender is a conscious effort made daily, throughout the day if need be. It takes a breath. You ask for help to surrender, and you just let this something take you in and take you up and let it go, and you are released. And if you do that regularly, at some point in time, there is no you and it. There is only the it. If there is only the it, there is no you to suffer it. You are the it. You are that totality. You are the multi-armed, multi-headed vastness of existence. You are everything. You are everyone. You are all there is. You are, as they say, the supreme reality. But we all know in our day-to-day ego life that really? That doesn't feel so real to me. And I can only tell you, because you become initiated into larger and larger visions of this and experiences of it, that it comes to be known. There are not a lot of people who pull it off, but they're there to tell us that it's the human opportunity to work into being what we already are. This is the journey. We're all on this journey. And there are moments in time in life that we're reminded of it. Some of them are profound loss. Profound loss opens us up to something because we realize you can't really lose the thing that's lost. You lose the physical, material, manifested version of it, but the deep truth, the ongoing depth of it, never goes anywhere. I have a connection to my grandmother, my mother, to people I've loved. All I have to do is sit still, and they are present tense. I have been with people who have lost children recently and grandchildren at the same time even. I've spoken at a funeral 2 years ago where I've talked about this. A woman lost her son trying to save his daughter, her granddaughter. I was so overwhelmed by that loss. But this woman, my dear friend Kristen, has so bloomed in this loss. And I have so learned from it that she doesn't have a moment where she doesn't miss him. She doesn't have a moment where she doesn't miss him. But his presence and the granddaughter's presence are so there that the loss has transformed her. I've met so many people having these experiences, and I have had my own, not at that level, because losing parents I think is different than losing children. But all I can tell you is if you want to see people grow into the massiveness of simple spiritual cosmic being, people who know great loss have found a pathway. Because the universe is infinite, loss is only an illusion, really. The bigger illusion is having. This is just a temporary manifestation. Let's have a great time in it, but let's not get caught up in the fact that it goes on forever, because everyone knows it does not go on forever. And you get to my age, and you go, boy, oh boy, it's moving fast. And Blanche and I were going to add this big great room to the house here. Take the garage and turn it into a great room and build another garage. And we thought maybe when we get a little bit older, we would build a first floor bedroom that we can use as a master, because the staircase might become problematic. Well, carrying those boxes up and down the stairs, I realized it could become problematic faster than not. So we decided, with the help of our wonderful contractor, Kevin, don't do the great room, don't do the garage, just build this room, which will be, for all of us at some point in time, if you continue coming here, there will be a sunroom, which will have a bathroom and a closet, and will be convertible into a master bedroom on the first floor, and we will be able to stay in this home for a lot longer than if we had a great room and a master bedroom upstairs. So we're working it out. We're working through the ways that life is throwing curves at us. I mean, it was a house on 3 levels as we're getting older. It doesn't quite work, but we will make it work. And that's what we all do. We all make the choices that help us plan a future that ultimately is going to be a future that allows us to exist with as little pain and stress as we can manage. But unfortunately, the final movement in all of this journey for all of us is uncomfortable. And what I'm learning in this period of getting old is, thank God for 50 years of practice. That's all I can tell you. Rudi said it was a life's work. It's a life's work. Surrender is not something you do in a day. It's not something you just have an ability to let go of at any point in time. Most of us fight surrender. Most of us are wildly attached to the world. Practice, practice, practice. Let go, let go, let go. And when you think you've done a great job, they'll take you into the next level of practice, because there's more to let go of. And finally, of course, it's letting go of your body, your breath, your memories, your mind, your love, your fear, everything. And that, the promise of that, based on the experience of this uplifted stillness, is very beautiful. So, excuse me, I'm going to encourage you to practice this work. Sit still once a day, if you can, twice a day, whenever you need it. Take a deep breath. Ask inside for help to surrender. Let go of the thing that's bothering you. Realize that the person being bothered is the problem. The fact that there is a reaction is the problem. The fact that there's a you to say, I don't like this, is a problem. Or a you to say, I want more of this, problem. Middle path, guys, middle path. You can have a little of this, a little of that, have just enough. Find your way through this exquisite experience of being alive, and enjoy the ride to the best of your ability, and realize how lucky you are to have it for a period of time. But it is only a period of time, and then it's over. Surrender. Any questions? George.
You speak for me and everybody of the importance of asking and having inner dialogue.
Speak up, please.
Can you speak about having an inner dialogue and having the importance of asking, talking to yourself basically, or that being inside yourself? Because I think just doing practice, sometimes one forgets that.
Well, it's what I'm trying to get at today more than anything, is that it's not a passive thing. You know, you can't walk around thinking that it's an ongoing part of who you are. There is a real thing that has to stop and ask for help at certain points along the way, which recognizes that you cannot do it alone. And there are moments in life that are so overpowering, that are so big, that are so destabilizing, that you need help. And where is that help going to come from? Well, often it may seem to manifest from around you, but often it's really a deep internal embrace that goes, we're here, don't worry about it. It really happens. It happens regularly. And if you're really engaged in the practice, you'll know you have safe haven within. And if you can't find that safe haven within, it just means work harder, ask harder, go deeper. Everything Rudi would say over and over and over. Work harder, you know? And there is a work to it. You can't think you're just gonna happen, it's all gonna happen because you were a nice person. It doesn't quite work that way. Well, maybe it will for some people. I mean, I'm afraid to give any dictums at all because in truth, I don't really know. What I do know is asking for help to surrender works for me. And some days it doesn't. And then I have to work.
Rudi used to say, if you ask, you get, basically.
Yeah, basically. That's really, I mean, that's kind of what you find. And I'm learning so much. I mean, I can't believe it just keeps unfolding and unfolding, but I think I told this story when I was in LA last time, but when Blanche and I had a flat tire here recently, in this town of Red Hook where we moved, and we're in the gas station and I'm trying to fill it, and I can't get the tire to fill up or do anything. And this guy who's at the who's filling up his gas tank comes over, he said, you have a problem? Have a flat tire? I said, unfortunately. He said, well, let me do it for you. You have a spare? Do you have a this? He completely fixed my tire, completely, and then drove off. And I went, what? That doesn't happen in Los Angeles, and a city of angels. When we moved here, Kevin Halton, who was a contractor for us in our old house, called to welcome us and said, how's it going? And I said, I have a garage full to the ceiling with unpacked boxes and paper, and we're going to have to get a dumpster, and we're going to have to find a way to get rid of all this, and Blanche and I are trying to figure out how we're going to do it all, and I mean, we were overwhelmed. He said, I'll be over tomorrow with the team, we're going to take care of it. And he came over with the whole team. They took everything out. It took a whole day to get clean. Blanche and I would have been a week. We actually thought we were going to ask all of you to help. that was the first intention. But he was, this guy then brought his whole team of people to help us with, I mean, we had so many issues. They built shelves for us in the basement to store things. He's going to do the construction and the building over there. In fact, he's the one who said, you don't want to spend all that money on that garage thing. Let's do this, it'll be cheaper and it will serve you better. And I just said, thank you. And you know, why? why have these kind-hearted people appeared? Met a guy walking down the street yesterday, just
To attract them.
one can attract all of this. And it comes out of a life of surrender. And you realize the world is there for you. But it's the dark side of it, which is also there, that is also for you. But only when you learn how to work with it does it work. If you are there to be punished by it, if you're there to be tormented by it, that's your choice. But you can also realize even this, and you start to make peace with it, and it lifts and it turns into something else. Most people don't have skills and don't have capacities or techniques to deal with this. They just get through the day, and they have, and I don't want to speak about most people, it's not fair, but because there's so many wonderful people who have wonderful things that they do, but many people really don't know how to get through the next moment and look to be distracted up until the last second. And you do not want to face eternity without having ever glimpsed what's ahead. I wouldn't want to give that to anybody. My whole goal is to at least help people start to look at the temporary nature of this, because it affects everything. When you believe this is all there is, if you're an oil magnate and you think making more money and making more money and making more money and polluting the world doesn't matter because as long as I'm happy and I get what I want, that is profound ignorance, because they're taking off and they're accountable. They are accountable just like us. They don't know that. Most people don't know how accountable they are and how their actions are meaningful. The biggest problem is that we're all accountable, and many of us don't realize that just driving a car and turning on air conditioning is part of the larger problem. So we all have issues here. It's part of being human. Learning how to play your role in the middle of the human drama is everything. And the trick of surrender lifts you up out of the morass of the human experience into something from which we have originally arrived. We are still in touch with that, George. We are still in touch with that. It's in touch with us. And you can live in connection or disconnect. But at some point, disconnect is really painful. Mostly it's painful.
Part of me is really sad for the people that you left behind in California. But a big part of me is very happy to see you back. And I just want to thank you again for coming back to us.
It happened. It was not my intention. I love you guys, and I'm very happy to be here. And I'm so happy to see all of you returning. I mean, that's amazing to me. I had no idea. I thought many people would just go, "Oh God, he's coming back."
No, here, Phil.
But the people, these talks are available. One can sit on their own. And the amazing thing in California, in both the San Rafael class and the LA class, the classes are still happening. They're still ongoing. People are going. I hear they're very enriching. People are having a very good time there. And also, here's my feeling, and you'll hear more about it over the weeks. The world needs us, and they need more people. It's not me. They need all of us. And every one of us, in my mind, is potentially a teacher. Whether you sit in a group like this or whether you just walk around and express a certain kind of well-being and kindness and compassion for others. But every one of us, and even in sitting like this, could be out there sharing this with others, because I think the world needs us more than ever. Not in a pontifical way, not like, there's a lot of religions and belief systems and everything, but they need people to just be there for them, compassionately holding hands, or even saying, here's a technique you can use and try it. Or come to my house, if we sit together in a group, there's something communal that's quite extraordinary. You can just do that. And we'll talk about it. If anyone here wants to start teaching on their own, in their own space, I used to be more protective of it. But I looked at Rudi and who he made teachers, and I went, I could do better than that. So my feeling is we're hitting a real time, where, if nothing else, the world needs people of goodwill, however that manifests. You don't have to be a spiritual teacher. You don't have to be a meditator. You don't have to be anything. You just have to be a good person. It needs us, and if you are that, be of service wherever you can. And I think if we do that, we are the future is a big thing to talk about, but right now, the only thing we know is this moment, and we're all in it, and live it gently and live it kindly and be available. And classes here will continue. I will tell you they will be disrupted. Blanche and I are going to Europe the 21st of this month for 3 weeks. Ghost, the musical, is opening in Paris, Madrid, and Bologna.
Yay.
And we're going to take a trip to Venice because we've never been, and it's on our bucket list. And we've celebrated, I think I talked about it, our 50th wedding anniversary with no time to do anything because we were in the middle of packing. So we're going to go to Venice for a week, and then we'll be back, and things will be as normal. This afternoon, we've been invited to our contractor's a party at his house, at his farm actually, and we're going to go because he's been so kind to us. So this afternoon gathering will be shorter than usual. And next week, Dimitri and Jana, who's not here, are getting married. And it will be after this class. I'm going to try to hold a class here and then leave quickly afterward. So the classes will be shorter than usual, but we will still have them up until the middle of September, and then we'll continue again in October. And if everyone wants to come and comes, we'll do it weekly. If it's too big of an ordeal, we can do it twice a month. I don't care. I mean, if one person shows up, I'll sit here, basically. But if you all start to find it hard, and please don't feel guilty about it. It's a big ride up to where we are. It's okay. Come if you can, when you can, and we'll do the classes. I think they have value, or I wouldn't bother. And also, Rudi used to talk about he was a cow with big tits, and if he wasn't milked, the milk dries up. So being milked is a thing, and I kind of appreciate it. So it's your call. It's completely your call. But I will tell you, I'm available. This room is available. I hope it's large enough for us. And we will continue this until we don't. Okay? Anyway, I truly love you. I truly am grateful that you all made the trip here. I know there's no easy ride to Red Hook, New York. It's not like you're around the block. So, as Rudi would say, and I've said many, many times repeating it, half of your meditation, if not the whole of it, is the ride here. Whatever that commitment represents, that's everything. And it doesn't matter what you get out of the class, you plowed through it to make it here. So thank you for plowing through, and I am really, really grateful. And this room is grateful, and the house is grateful, and we will slowly make this place into the right place, and it will be a great gathering spot. We're going to have brunch downstairs, as you can tell. We have a kitchen table, there's a dining room area, there's an outdoor place to sit on the porch, and there's in the far down the steps, there's a patio with furniture. So there are places to sit if you want to sit and eat. And, just have we'll hang out for about an hour, and then Blanche and I have to cut out. But thank you, really thank you for coming. Deeply appreciate it.